Okay.
Well, we're back. I know it took us a few weeks to get back here, but today we have, what I think is a very interesting and very important topic. We're going to be talking about judgments that we have about ourselves, judgments that we have about our parents, our moms, and others. I also want to talk about, social media and influencers and judgments that we might have on those people as well. So, Mom, let's start with maybe some judgments that you had about me when I was younger.
Wow, you just went right to the. Well, let me just say real quick first, judgments carry a lot of power, like a lot more power than we realize. And a lot of times we think, well, I'm not judging them out loud. I don't ever say anything. And yet, judgment is an energy that we actually put towards whoever we are judging, including ourselves. You even said it, like including ourselves. Like there's times that we carry a judgment against ourselves and we wonder why we can't get past a certain place, whether that be about body image, if it's about the foods we eat, and it goes down to other areas of life, judgments we have about how we handle money, judgments we have about what we think family should look like. All these things carry an energy and can hold us back from being all that we are, or all that we were intended to be.
And I think sometimes the judgments that we have on ourselves, we project that onto people, and then we feel, right, that other people have these judgments against us. For example, and I'll just start, we said we were going to be honest with everyone, right? That's the whole point of these videos. When I was younger, whether my mom judged me for my weight or not, I always felt like I was being judged. And I think some of that, not all of that, came from my mom, right? Some of it came from because she was so fit and she was so healthy and she ate all the right foods, that whether she said anything or not, when I wasn't working out, or when I was a little bit overweight, or when I wasn't eating the right foods, I judged myself in anticipation of her judging me. Right?
Well, okay, so what you just said is huge, because I don't believe, this is my belief, and you can tell me what you think about this. I don't believe we can truly judge someone else if we aren't judging ourselves. Like, I feel like what we project on other people is what we carry. So even when, the first question you asked me, which was like totally honest, and I totally beat around the bush, it's like, how did I, as a child, how did I judge you? I feel like the first place I would judge both of my kids is Daryl and I both, even with all of our messes, we were super hard workers. Like, we worked all the time. We never sat down. We didn't know how to relax. So I believe we kind of judged our kids when they would just try to be kids, but we wanted them to act a certain way, to do a certain thing, to look a certain way. Because we felt like that projected what people felt about us. Okay, so why would we do that? Except that we had a judgment about ourselves. Like, we were lazy if we sat down and just rested. We were, we didn't know how, we didn't have a lot of proper tools on how to really self-care, take care of ourselves. So we would judge everyone around us if they didn't act the way that we were holding ourselves up to the standard to act. Which goes back to exactly what you were saying. I might not have a thought in my head about what you put on your plate, but because you were already feeling bad about your body, about what you were eating, you were anticipating my judgment. And the truth, if truth be known, I probably was judging you because I was a perfect eater. I was, because that's how I so judged my own self, that if I didn't eat perfectly, that I would condemn myself. So I expected everybody else to live up to my own standards, including you.
Right. And so then to build off of that, what I will say for all of the girls who have beautiful moms out there, I judged you too. And I judged you for being so beautiful because I didn't like it. I didn't think it was fair to me. I hated that you were so perfect. I hated that you were always skinny and that you were always working out and that all the guys always said, oh, your mom's so hot. It wasn't your hot. It was, oh, your mom's so hot. Right? So then I judged you thinking it's not fair to me, right? You were in such good shape, which is crazy, right? It's silly because all of our bodies are our own, right? We cannot control what anybody else's body looks like,
Right.
no matter how hard we try, right? But in my head, I judged you for being so beautiful, right? If that makes
And
sense.
see, I don't think I ever even knew that. I think until we started having these conversations, I didn't realize that was even an issue. Hi, Creed.
No, and my point in saying that is that if other girls who are listening to this feel that way, you know, it's a normal feeling. But then what we have to do is learn how to get to a place where you and I are now, where we can talk about these feelings and we can talk about these things. And,
yeah,
you know, I'm not asking you to get fat, right? Like, that's not where we're going with this. But I think it's something that we have to realize and then figure out what to do with those judgments.
Well, I do believe that as I begin to this journey of the eating psychology journey of like, what is going on that I feel like I have to be so perfect. And I quit judging myself was a huge part of releasing you from that prison. Because I really did. We keep people in a prison when we keep a judgment on them. I feel like my marriage is amazing because I quit judging my husband, you know, just because he didn't do things the way I did them. Even though he was in so many ways, we're very, very similar when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to working out, when, you know, all those things. But there were other things that I really put a judgment on him. And I feel like I held him in prison. And when I let go of that, I almost feel like generations were healed. Like even things that you and I, or Kyle and I my son and I dealt with, like there was just so much healing when we let go, when we let somebody out of prison. So,
right.
So a judgment is really an energy around a person. But well, the other thing you talked about a little bit before we started this conversation was, what do we do with these judgments? Like, how do you handle them? And if I'm feeling judged by someone else, first of all, if I'm feeling that judgment come towards me, then there's something inside of me that's being hooked. Like I'm being hooked by that thing. So what can we do? What are some of your ideas?
I don't know. You know, so here's one of the things that I wanted, and I'll get back to your question. Here's one of the other things that I wanted to bring up today, right? And you and I have talked about this recently, right? I don't feel great about my body right now. I'm not in a place where I like the way that I look or where I want to wear a bikini outside, you know, any of those things. But I've also come to a realization where my body is doing for me right now what it needs to do for me. I'm working a lot. And when I'm not working, I don't want to work, right? And I've become okay with that. And in this process, so here's where I'm going with the judgments, right? I started following a lot of these body positive accounts on Instagram. But I've realized that I judge them, right?
That's so interesting, right? It's so interesting.
And I think it's because I'm at a place where I'm like, I wish I felt about my body the way that they feel about theirs. But at the same time, I also wish that I looked a different way, right? So I have these competing ideas in my head, right? Where I'm like, okay, I wish that I felt skinny enough to wear a bikini out. I wish I had a six pack. I wish all these things, right? And I also wish that I was so okay with my body the way that these girls on Instagram are, that I could come out in a bra and underwear, even with my rolls, and say like, what's up? Let's go.
I love that.
But the question becomes, how do you take those two competing ideologies and mesh them, right?
So you're always, this is one of the things I teach and I'm practicing myself, is we're always just one thought away from a whole different life. Like we're literally a thought away from a different life. So it's taking those thoughts captive and just shifting in our mind. Okay, so and I think too, owning up, like what you just did was I'm owning up to Annie, enough. I'm owning up to these feelings that I'm having about my body, that they're conflicting. And so just putting light on them makes a huge difference. I always tell my clients, what you resist persists. So don't resist, even in a judgment. So if I'm judging myself, if I can go, you know what? I am judging myself. I don't like how I am in this area of my life. And I love that. And I love that. Like just being open with it and seeing it. I listen to a lot of Kyle Cease. I love him so much and he's the self-help motivator. And he always talks about once you get through a feeling is saying, and I love that. And what that means is this is where we are right now. So right here, right now, this is what I feel. This is where I am. Because without facing the feeling of where we are, we will not move forward. We will stay in that thought process of the past. So the other thing that I believe is helping me is replacing the thought. And you and I talked about it a little bit today.
Yes. And that's what I was going to go back and say, when you asked, what are some things that we do with these judgments? I think you have to replace the thought. Whenever I'm looking on Instagram, right, and I see those girls, the ones who are running these body positive accounts, right, and telling these girls your body is okay no matter what, right? I have to tell myself whenever I see their photos and I judge them, no, you want to be like them. Stop judging them. So you take that thought captive, right? And then you have to look at yourself and say, you know what? This is okay. This body gets me places. It gets me through 12-hour work days. It gets me to where I need to go, and it is what it is right now.
Well, and I think too, it's like we have given in to what society thinks is beautiful. What, maybe some of these body positive models, what they have done is they have taken on a new idea of what is beautiful. And we've talked about it. Like, look at, some of the famous actors and actresses from the past that were not, a size 2.
Monroe was a size 14.
That's right. And she was so beautiful, but we have put these ideas in our head.
Victoria's Secret says that size 10 is a plus size model. That's insane.
No, Victoria's Secret says a size 6 is a plus size model.
That's even more insane.
It is. It's crazy. But here's the thing, Kayla, we have bought into it.
Absolutely.
We have bought into it.
Absolutely.
And so how do you balance this out? It's going to go back to you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do right now. And in the midst of all that, we can still make some thought processes and some decisions that can help us just to feel good every day. So I'm not saying in all this to just let go of anything healthy or what we consider healthy, or but what you and I talked about, you were, I'm just going to be honest, you were talking about, okay, I'm going to buy some new suits. Maybe I need to juice fast. And I'm like, no. Okay, but are you drinking your lemon water in the morning? Something that'll cleanse your system, something that you can do every day that is not going to be temporary. It's a lifestyle. So we want to look for more ways to enter into a lifestyle. I have all 3 Danes out because it's going to rain and I have to let them run before we have to stay inside.
You can tell we're not professionals.
So anyway, so find some things that you can incorporate into your life that can be forever things that do give you energy, that do help you to feel good. And one of them is staying hydrated. I mean, staying hydrated is just huge, getting up in the morning and drinking that, drinking your water or lemon water. So we're not negating that. However, with that being said, the way that we think about and process things totally and completely make a difference in our life every single day.
Yeah.
So it is, you're always one thought away. You are one thought away from deciding that this body right here, right now, has done all the things it needed to do to get you to this place.
Yeah. And what I really want people to take away from this specific talk today is that we all have judgments, right?
Yeah.
We have judgments about each other. We have judgments about ourselves. We have judgments about our moms. We have judgments about Instagram models, right? We all have these judgments. And whether or not those judgments are okay, because some of them might not be, it's a normal thing that we all deal with, especially as women.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's something that certainly can impede your relationship with your mom, right? Especially if you have judgments about each other that you're not talking about.
Right.
And so I want to encourage everyone to have these conversations if you feel safe, right? If you feel a safe space to have these
Good.
conversations with your moms and your daughters and, you know, your friends even, right?
Yeah.
To have these conversations about what you're judging each other about and not take offense to them, right? Just to be totally candid about these things, because I think that helps too, right? Letting each other know, I'm judging you for this. Help me.
I think the other thing is the second a judgment rises up inside us is what, if I'm judging you, what inside of me is hooked?
Right.
Why am I judging you? So if, or why am I judging myself? Like, where did that come from? And if we could go back to the root, maybe it's something as a child, you know, I know mine came from, some of it came from as a child. I felt like I had to be perfect to not get in trouble. I came from a very strict upbringing. So to not get in trouble, I had to be perfect. Well, that just went over into my body, into athletics, into my work ethic, where I didn't even know how to relax.
Right.
So if we can go back to the root and comfort the little girl inside of us, we can heal the initial judgment where that's not coming out anymore. You know, why am I judging my daughter? Why am I judging my husband? Because, oh my God, they're not living up to these expectations that I had to live up to as a child to be okay. And so just going back to the basics can really help us to not have to fight the judgment, but to heal the judgment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think this is a good place to, wow. It's storming here. It's such a weird feeling. I think this is a good place to leave some thoughts on the table. And that is, you know, what areas in your life, first of all, are you judging? What areas are you judging? Kind of pinpoint them and love them. Just love them. And then go to that place inside of you of like, where did this judgment start? And see if you can comfort the child within to heal that judgment. Yeah. Any other suggestions, Kayla?
No, I think we've talked about it all. I think we've left everyone with some good ideas and some things to get the wheels turning and to talk about, you know, and certainly reach out to my mom and I if you have any questions or if there's anything else that you want to talk about, or even if you want to express, you know, your judgments. We're here for you.
That's right. We're a safe place to talk about them, or just like there is something powerful about putting the light on it. Like not keeping it in the dark any longer. Like, hey, this is what I was thinking, this is what I was feeling, and I want to move forward from it.
Yeah.
So, all right. I love you, honey.
Love you too, Mom.
Bye.